Chapter 8. Forgive Yourself. A message from the Blessed Virgin Mary. Episode 1. Salvific Love. My children, I am the mother of love, and therefore the mother of wisdom. Today I have come to be with you once again, surrounded by the glory of the Father, whose glory is also yours. Remember that God does not keep anything for himself. He shares everything. Today I come to you to live in mercy. Today I come to you to remind you to live in mercy. To forgive others without forgiving yourself is a mistake. All are in need of forgiveness, both to forgive and be forgiven. Sons and daughters of light, in your heart are pains that still pierce your soul, fears that you have not yet released, and prevent you from embracing the light of love. Your pain is the pain you feel for the evil you think you have done. That pain, that guilt, is what I speak of today. To let the conscience of Christ heal your wounds forever. You have to understand, or rather remember once again, that physical and mental illnesses, accidents, crises, or what you might call everyday problems of financial bankruptcy, a divorce, a deceit, or mistakes of all kinds, are but events or relationships that come to you from the pure love of God. They come in perfect union with your will. They are a grace, all of them. This means that there is nothing in your life that is not perfect. Everything that happens to you happens to God. There is nothing that you experience that God does not experience. When your body feels the joy of fresh water on your hands, so does God. The Father and you are one. Everything works together for a higher good. God is a father and a mother who loves with salvific love. This cannot mean that he is away or separated. God is not apart from you. You and God are one. You are part of him. And what I want to say to you, beloveds of holiness, is that universal love, the source of creation, has perfect wisdom. In its perfect wisdom, it has aligned all things so that the purpose of your creation is fulfilled without delay or detour. God has not erred in calling you to life. He was not mistaken when from eternity he thought up the kind of life that you would have on the physical plane, the experience of human life. Children of love, nothing can happen in your life that is not in divine thought. Nothing can happen other than that which can help you become aware of uncreated truth. This is the truth that makes you free. It is what will show you who you truly are. When you recognize who you truly are, you recognize the love that you truly are. In that recognition, you become aware of your unity with God. If you are love, and I assure you that you are, you cannot be different from the love that God is. There is only one love, and that is God. You know this, but often forget. Everything is in the hands of God. Not a hair falls from your head without his consent. It is this truth upon which forgiveness is always justified. I speak forgiveness here, given its importance on your path to permanent peace of God. Throwing blame onto others is as alien to love as putting blame on yourself, like a heavy burden you might carry or drag alone. Drop the bundle now. Do not carry a cross where you were never asked to carry. Sons and daughters of God, that was not what was meant when you were told to carry your cross and follow me. What was meant is that you take charge of the creative mental and emotional process within by which you inherently co-create. Everything you attract in your life is perfect because in agreement with God, it is what you have created as your experience on earth. Accept the fact that it is you and only you that fabricates guilt and scatters it about. Recall that it was said, "He who does not gather with me scatters." This is what we are remembering today, to stop spreading guilt and to start gathering the harvest that is already yours, that together we sowed. It is about finally abandoning the blame of habit, the habit of assigning guilt for the apparent blunders of life. Blessed soul, you are ready to accept that all the evil you think you have committed, all the damage you think you have caused, even from incapacity or unconsciousness, is past. What you did cannot be modified, nor is it necessary to do so. It is only necessary to recognize that it is past, and be willing to put it in the hands of forgiveness so that Christ can perform the miracle. You will not lack opportunities to do this. Henceforth, the events of life will not have for you the same meaning as before, although they may seem to arrive in the same way, even with the same characters and scenarios. Section 2. The consciousness of being healthy. You will now be aware of events that have you feel pain as healings performed in your deep interior. Awareness of healings are necessary. From now on, if you experience a physical illness, a divorce, a bankruptcy, or are involved in any type of accident, deceit, or similar thing, understand and remember well that a gift of God's love has arrived. Such as a gift may seem to be something quite different, but it is certainly a gift of divine grace, a gift that love brings, so that the healing that has already occurred in your soul passes to your consciousness. Son of God that God is, you have healed. It is necessary to consciously accept that you have already healed. It is for this reason that your being acts in perfect communion to bring to the service of the physical or emotional body matters which have already healed, to bring them to light and to integrate them. In other words, the apparently sick body makes you aware that healing has already happened. Similarly with other things that seem to happen and can bring you painful memories. Painful memories that are triggered, that evoke and provoke unwanted emotions, are not a punishment from God. They are messengers to remind you that you have healed and are asking you to accept the healing. They are messengers saying, brother, sister, let go of the past and forgive yourself now. Not everything that you consider painful should be unwanted. Not everything you have called guilt is actually guilt. The misunderstanding of guilt is an important source of conflict that we dismantle now. You are living in a world that has created a myriad of judgments towards feelings as good or bad, right or wrong. Some are considered desirable, others undesirable. But such labels are contrary to truth. Life does not label. The fear of feeling is a basic fear. It manifests itself in resisting certain emotions. Often these include anger and physical impulses. Your fear of feelings arises from a fear of losing control. The mind fears the heart, for the heart speaks a language that the thinking mind cannot understand. This is the apparent reality of the mind-heart separation. The cradle of all fear is that which cannot be understood by the mind, which it perceives as a threat to its integrity and must be attacked. The mind would configure reality according to its own laws. To the mind, feelings and emotions are a threat because they come from a place beyond it and outside of its control. Since in the past certain emotions seemed to dominate you, now the memory of the mechanism that sought to reject them has been activated. Your repression of them left a memory in your physical bodies. Your repression of them left a memory in your psychic and physical bodies that needs to be deprogrammed. Deprogramming in this context means healing memory. Every record of fear recorded by the body and the separated mind must be erased. Only forgiveness that comes from the love of Christ can and will do this. But your willingness is required to forgive 70 times 7 if necessary. Section 3. Fear of feeling. Let us further consider the mental mechanism of the fear of feeling. Hatred of fear arouses in the thinking mind a terror of losing its integrity. To deal with it, it creates an automatic emotional response mechanism that led you to repress certain emotions as soon as possible, or to flee from the circumstance that may have aroused them. Avoidance of the defense attack mechanism was a response that may in the past have helped you deal with certain situations, but it has no usefulness now. You have left the ego behind and are well grounded in the light of truth. So it will not be difficult for you to let go of these mechanisms. Guilt has preponderant place in what you dealt with relentlessly in the past. Now we will integrate guilt into love. Guilt is an emotion, a false feeling, which is a thought reflected in the body, not a true feeling, which is thought of this true self expressed in the heart. In other words, fear is an emotion, an illusion, whereas feelings are expression of love. All guilt is a response to something you perceive in yourself and consider inadequate or unworthy of yourself. Guilt is so common that it has become a habit, a merciless one. Mercy is a response of love and truth. And God is not only love, but also mercy, just as you are both love and mercy. In the past, you have done things that perhaps created situations that seemed painful to others. To continue to blame yourself is to lack love and mercy for yourself. It also reflects a lack of understanding. Every event in your life has perfection in God and is pure love, as it is with each one of your brothers and sisters. Realize also that they summoned you so that through you those circumstances you consider undesirable could arise. They had something to learn from them, just as you did. Sons and daughters of truth, you summon to yourself in time that which you have agreed to outside of time in the covenant of your souls. No encounter is casual. Nothing happens by chance. Maybe you do not like what you have done or what others have done to you. Everyone has feelings of disgust towards themselves, towards others, towards life, but that you do not like something does not justify attack. You are not part of events involving others by chance, nor are they. They need you, not only in what seems to be desirable and pleasant, but frequently in what seems not to be. They must also forgive you and themselves in the way you do, just as they give you an opportunity to forgive. You give likewise to them. This dynamic applies not only to your brothers and sisters, but also to things, events, and even ideas. This mechanism of union occurs through the packed souls that have made outside of time, because its purpose is holy. Where then is any reason for guilt? Do you think the damage you have done cannot be corrected? If so, you are wrong. All true forgiveness presupposes the correction of mistakes. And since true forgiveness comes from Christ and not from the thinking mind, then Christ also does the correction. Do not seek to correct the error in your own way, for that is the old mechanism of the ego. The ego, in its arrogance, believes that it could correct and forgive, and frequently did so in its own way without achieving anything. Section 4. God's Peace. My sons and daughters, the peace of God is your inheritance. Forgive yourself as God has always forgiven you, or better understood, there is nothing to forgive. You are simply traveling the path of life in human experience, learning in your own way, in a trial and error manner. Mistakes are an essential part of that process. It could not be otherwise in a world of opposites. Success, error, success, error. A dualistic world is experienced in dual consciousness. You have made mistakes. everyone has. They are part of the human experience. But it does not have to be like this anymore. We have entered in a new era, a new experience, the experience of living in the certainty of a wisdom that is not of the world. We no longer live in trial and error duality. We live now in truth. Beloveds of God, everything that happened, happened. We let it go. We let God solve it in God's own way. Do you think God would leave his children with the harm that you could cause? God knows that everything is neutral. He knew that you would make mistakes, and also that from those errors there would come fruits of holiness, both for you and your brothers and sisters. The Holy Spirit uses every mistake for your growth and growth of others. God, in his infinite wisdom, conceived a plan for restoration even before you made a mistake. Leave forgiveness and correction in God's hands. Remember that spiritual growth is a grace. Leave your sisters and brothers in the hands of love, just as you already are. Trust in the wisdom of God. Start enjoying the journey of life. Be merciful to yourself and others. They may not yet have reached the point of being with themselves, but that is not your business. Everyone has their way. Yours belongs to you. Everyone has his Goliath, and each one has a pebble with which to slay Goliath. That pebble is called mercy. Children of God, is it too much to ask for you to be merciful to yourselves?